Going viral with YouTube Shorts isn't just luck, and I can prove it. Last year, my first ever YouTube short got 15 million views in the first 3 months, so naturally, my boss said this.
You need to do that again.
But honestly, I had no idea how. Like many creators, I assumed that going viral was just the luck of the draw. The algorithm picks out videos at random and decides to give them millions of views. But then I took a trip through the Golden Arches. And as I lifted that tasty burger to my mouth, I realized that there might just be a 7-step playbook for viral shorts success. And it's something called the McDonald's method. A big mistake that people make with shorts content is by trying to be way too original with their ideas. After multiple decades, the most successful item on the McDonald's menu is still the classic cheeseburger. They've become the most successful fast food chain in the whole world by serving up this simple idea over and over again, and it's an idea that they didn't even invent. So to get viral views on your YouTube shorts, you also need to find a great idea that's both guaranteed to work and easily repeatable. You can start by looking at trending topics and other creators within your niche, but for me, the best place to start is by looking at the videos you've already posted. My first short to go viral was about buying fake YouTube subscribers, and judging by the view count and the audience retention metrics, it's clearly a topic that interests people. It's also an idea that's been done by plenty of other channels, which is another proof of concept. And by adding my own unique perspective and style to this existing topic, I managed to get millions of views on my own. So I'm going to use this existing video as a template to go viral all over again by targeting the same audience that I now know exists. And by doing a simple brainstorm of similar ideas, what comes to mind for me is buying fake views, buying fake watch time, buying fake likes. All of these are similar enough ideas that can use the same structure and storytelling as before. Then it's a question of demand. Do people actually want to watch a video about this topic? Looking into keywords is another great way to do your market research and gain a proof of concept. If I go over to TubeBuddy and type in buying fake likes, it confirms that this phrase is definitely being searched for and watched on YouTube. So that's going to be my next idea. And now it's time for what is probably the most important step in making a viral YouTube short. The most successful videos on YouTube have the right amount of story and information to keep the audience watching all the way through. And a satisfying YouTube short script is just like the recipe for the perfect McDonald's cheeseburger. Once again, YouTube shorts are all about repeating a formula that already works. So looking at the analytics of my first viral short, you can see that it already got a very high level of retention, meaning that the script was really good. So I now want to create a new video that's as close as possible in tone and pacing to my recent hit. I ultimately want to create an entire conveyor belt of satisfying shorts burgers to serve up to my audience. So let's now build my next shorts burger together, starting with the bun. Now every burger bun is split into 2 parts. You have the top and the bottom, and it's exactly the same with your short script. The bottom half of the bun is the hook, and the top half of the bun is your payoff or resolution. But let's start at the bottom of the stack. For YouTube shorts, the first 5 seconds of your video stops the viewer from scrolling and compels them to watch the rest of the content, which is why it's called the hook. It needs to grab attention, pique curiosity, but also be very clear. You already know that you've picked a great video idea from your keyword research, so it's now about phrasing that idea in the right way to stand out from the crowd. And the best way to do that is by using an intriguing question that you answer by the end of the video. So in the case of my first viral short, my hook sounded like this: what actually happens when you buy fake YouTube subscribers? And I'll now do the exact same thing with my new short script by opening up with what actually happens when you buy fake YouTube likes. But that's not all. Once you've stopped the viewer from scrolling, you then need to reassure them that they've made the right decision. And you can do this by adding another hook right afterwards and dive straight into the story. This is the cheese and pickles that sits between your bun and your meat. It's the connective tissue that lets the audience know that this isn't clickbait and the video is going to be worth their time watching. So with my original short, I managed to do this by making it look like I'm doing something risky and controversial with this whole process. To find out, I dived into the dark corners of the internet black market, where sneaky methods are sold that could get your channel banned. This section not only jumps straight into the action of the story, but it also raises the stakes, which boosts curiosity and makes the viewer want to watch to the end to see what happens. So I'm literally going to copy and paste that exact same line into my new script. I don't need to change anything. Then we get to that juicy burger patty. This is the main entertainment portion of the video. This is the section that's just fun to consume. We've engaged them with the hook, we've then reassured them, and now it's time to go wild. For my video, this is when I go through the entire process of buying the fake video metrics, and you can keep it fresh by adding some twists along the way. This can be in the form of a joke, some unexpected turn of events, or even just a relevant fact. Then, crucially, I only reveal the answer to the hook question right at the end of the video. If the finale is revealed too soon, then the audience no longer has a reason to carry on watching and they'll just swipe away. In my buying fake subscribers video, I only reveal the results right in the closing seconds of the video, which is that all-important second half of the bun. And as you can see, the retention graph of my video is completely flat, so people are watching to the end to find out the result. But that's not the end. I'm also adding one final thing to my burger. This tiny technique is the secret sauce that not only boosts your views, but also increases your retention to a point that makes the algorithm love you. And you can only do this if you specifically plan for it at the scripting stage. Watch the end of my viral short and notice how it seamlessly connects back to the start of the video. And because my followers didn't click on my content, I stopped getting recommended as well. So that is what actually happens when you buy fake YouTube subscribers. Shorts play on a loop in the feed, so if the video never feels like it's ending, you can trick people into watching for a second time. The key to this is not making it feel like the video is coming to a close. Instead, end the video suddenly and connect the last line of your script to the first line. And by doing this effectively, you can actually make your audience retention numbers go over 100%, which really makes the algorithm take notice. So now I've got a brilliant recipe using some tasty retention hacks that have worked for me before, and it's now time to gather my ingredients by recording. And once again, with YouTube Shorts, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. This is the McDonald's psychology. People know that when they walk into any Golden Arches anywhere around the world, they can eat the exact same satisfying burgers, which is a very comforting feeling. So I'm going to keep the exact same backdrop, the exact same angle, and I've even worn the exact same clothes as my viral video. Keeping things as familiar as possible to your most popular content is a great idea, because when you appear in the Shorts feed again, it means your viewers will recognize you more quickly. I record landscape in 4K, which gives me more flexibility in the editing process, and I even talk a little bit faster for YouTube Shorts to keep that quick pacing. Then it's time to take our recorded ingredients into the kitchen and assemble our burger in the editing process. In the McDonald's production line, they use specific processes to make sure every single burger is exactly the same. So I want to keep my new edit as close as possible to my viral hit by reusing a lot of the same assets. My new script already hits a lot of the same beats as my first video. So after I've imported my footage, removed all the mistakes, and cropped it to that vertical shape, I'm going to copy and paste as many elements into my new edit as possible. I added some of the same B-roll and added the exact same zoom effects to highlight certain moments. And I specifically did this during the hook because this is another great technique for grabbing the attention of your audience. Now, when they're scrolling through the feed, the first thing they'll see of my video is a fast-paced camera movement to emphasize my opening line. I also add captions all the way through with the same color and font as before, so even people watching with the sound off can still follow the story. I've even used the exact same music as my viral short. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, the final step on the production line is packaging up our burger and sending it out to the customer. Uploading your video to YouTube in the right way is a really important step to going viral, because this is your marketing. Every McDonald's burger has its own wrapping or box, so the customer knows they've got the right order, and you need to make sure that your videos get to the right people too. And the best way to do this is by giving YouTube as much information as possible. Shorts may not have thumbnails, and many YouTube gurus play down the importance of keywords and titles for YouTube Shorts content, but I think that's a mistake. You definitely need to pick a short title that captures the video topic very clearly, but also boosts curiosity. Then add as many keywords to your description and tags as possible. For this, I just use that same keyword research we did on TubeBuddy at the start of this process. You can also search for some other keywords related to the topic and load up your tags with them too. And the effect of this is that YouTube will know exactly what your video is about, and they'll know who to send it to. Getting to the correct audience right away is a really important part of going viral. So there we have it. My video is done and uploaded, but how did it actually do? Well, during the first 24 hours, it did really well, gaining 17,000 views, which is one of the best starts on my channel so far. Then after a week, it didn't slow down, reaching 50,000 views. And after 1 month, it reached 86,000 views before it started to slow. And at this point, you can say that the video is done well, but it's really not a viral YouTube short. But we're still missing one final part of my McDonald's playbook, and that is to wait. My first YouTube short didn't go viral until 3 months after uploading, and this one was no different. It also turns out that there are 2 specific metrics inside your analytics that YouTube looks for before sending your video viral. And if these numbers aren't right during the first month, then they won't push out your video to more people. The first is the viewed versus swiped away graph, and the second is your audience retention. The viewed versus swiped graph needs to be over 70% if you want your a video to go viral, and mine was at 77%. Your retention also needs to be over 80%, but mine was at 90%. So the video is definitely hitting the right benchmarks, and after 2 months of waiting, the views suddenly skyrocketed, jumping to 345,000 views over the course of a couple of days, and after 3 months, it was over 3 million views, which makes it a certified viral YouTube short, which made my boss very happy.
Nice one. Can you do it again?
But that's not the only way to go viral. Some editors on Fiverr claim that they can get any video millions of views for a very cheap price. So I put them to the test against my Shorts playbook to see who gets the best results. You can check that out right here.
Right, so I'm currently at my dashboard on smmshiba.com, and do not get confused by the website names. SMM Shiba and SMM Dodge are actually the same website. So all you have to do once you've created yourself an account here is to go on list, click on this category icon, select, and here you want to select something, basically any option that says you from with video. So I'm going to choose this one right here, and this should be already fine. 2014, 2017, yeah. Now I'm going to click on buy, confirm, and now you can go onto your product orders, and you will see this is pending. All right, the order is now completed. This didn't even take 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you want to copy that ID, and we want to be organized, right? Especially if we have multiple channels, you will not find them again. So make sure to save it somewhere.